And I'd like to introduce Sam from OWASP. Now, myself and Sam are just going to have a little chat. Sam is the leader of the London OWASP chapter. I'm one of the leaders of the Women in Application OWASP chapter, so it's really nice to have you here this morning. Also, Sam has worked with many global banks in an application security function, and we have some really burning questions for you today as well. Good. So you have been kind of in the front row of application security for a number of years. And my first really burning question was, what has been kind of a marker of robust application security projects, particularly for developers, and the markers of the best ones that have been implemented for developers?
Well, I think one of the best ones that I've seen are the programs which utilize exactly what Matthias was talking about, which is gamification. Because we all know that developers, they like what they do. They like to develop. Yes, they don't understand security. They do want to learn security because, as Matthias described, they are, especially junior ones, they're all very eager to understand and to make sure that their code is better. And one of the things about security and secure code is that it's also higher quality code. So it's one of the approaches that when you speak to developers. But the thing about developers, they're all gamers in their background. Everyone likes to play games. I hardly know a developer who says, I never play any computer games, right? So gamifying security, I think, is one of the key approaches. And the companies who got it right, who gamify their security, who include gamification as the AppSec program, which is, I think, the perfect way of communicating with developers. I think these are the ones which are achieved actually very good results, and those results, if we measure them based on external penetration testing scanning results, and you can see that, yeah, actually our developers are playing games, but as a result, the number of high severity and medium severity vulnerabilities in applications, the findings are going down. So I think that's the good measure. Gamification is definitely the key.
And it is, but I guess the following question really leads into that is, what is the secret of demonstrating the value of secure coding to those developers? Gamification aside, how do you show them that actually this is really important stuff?
I think the problem is that developers don't actually understand the consequences of writing insecure code. Because, as Matthias said, it's their baby. So they write the code, and and then some pen tester from external company comes and says, your baby is ugly. So, I think the key is really engagement. So AppSec champions or security champions, I think is very, very important. And of course, one of the most important things is you need to give developers the source of information, because I go to many conferences, I go to many developer conferences, and developer conferences in particular are very interesting for me, because they talk about all these amazing things that they're building, all the new frameworks, and you ask them a security question, and it's like, oops, I'd like to learn about that. Where do I go, and how do I do this? So this is where organizations like OWASP, which provide guidance, which is much needed, and tools for developers, is quite important, because we do have a community-driven source of information and of tools. And we've been preaching as an organization to the global audience of developers. If you want to learn how to make your code secure, we have a source. So I think it's very important that developers actually know where to go. And one thing, obviously, once they learn, right, they have a source of learning, is the application of it as well.
That's, going to us, that's really, really clear. And I think engaging developers will demonstrate the value. How do you alternatively demonstrate the value or the risk of not taking action and engaging with developers on their terms to the board?
To the board is a bit of a difficult conversation. I think we all have this, right? So how do you communicate this to the board? I think the best way to communicate with the board is financial, because you need to use real figures, real examples, and you need to translate vulnerabilities and the risk of not having your developers understanding secure code and coding securely into financial terms. Because when they say, this is a risk, this is how much money your company is going to lose, and these are all the C-level executives who lost their job if you don't do this properly, because they say, this is just something. Because you know, we had a similar problem in the automotive industry, right? Remember, many years ago, cars did not had seat belts, right? And a lot of car manufacturers were really against seat belts, right? So this is a very similar thing. So when they realized that seat belts save lives, you say, yes, secure coding will save your job and will save your organization. That's how you talk to the board.
Excellent. And my final question is, what is something that our group here today could utilize from OWASP tomorrow with their teams to help them with their application security? One top tip.
Oh, the top tip is collaboration. So one thing about OWASP, we're not a preaching organization, we're a collaborative organization. So all our projects are open. So OWASP is open web application security project. And developers love open source. They love contributing, they love using it, and collaboration, I think, is the key word, is the key takeaway.
Thank you very much, Sam.